No woman should ever have to fight for the medication that helps her feel normal. None. None. This is our journey. Welcome to the Betancourt's homestead. Yes, you can ask, and funny you ask at this point in time, because last week a week and a half ago, I had my annual meeting with a new OBGYN, because the OBGYN that everybody calls a unicorn has turned her practice from general medicine into women's health, weight loss management, specifically hormone type stuff. So she asked me if I wanted to stay with her, and since I'm not having a problem with the weight loss part, I went to the OBGYN that she recommended, which is in Salem also, and she's accepting patients and she is amazing. So I was really nervous, and I went in there, and I was literally about to have a panic attack, not because the hormone replacement therapy is not working, but because I was scared to death that she was going to say I didn't need it, that it was just a natural part of life. And we sat down, we were talking about it, and she looked at me and she goes, "Oh, no, you definitely, yeah. I like what you're on. We're going to keep you on there. I have no problem renewing everything." Right then and there, she renewed everything. So how is it working for me? My husband was even in the appointment with me, and he was backing me up. He was my backup. He had my six. And we were both talking about the issues that go on with it. So I am, ironically, having hot flashes even on the medication. I'm on the 0.05 of the patch, which is the Dottie patch. The Dottie patch and the estradiol generic patch are two totally different hormone types. And I was reacting to the estradiol in a negative way, and the Dottie I was reacting in a positive way. So don't stop at just trying one, try multiple kinds. And then I'm on the progesterone, and that's 100 milligrams, I believe. Anyways, they are working great, except for a couple months ago, I started having hot flashes again. Ooh, I do not like those. They're warm flashes. Like I feel them, but they don't ever really get into the pokey needles, and I don't get that I'm going to just like I don't like my skin, like that kind of thing. I did tell her that I was having 80 a day and all of the other things that were going on, and she looked at me and she goes, "I have never heard that kind of stuff before. Like that is severe." So that was confirmed again. It's actually been confirmed before. She most likely thinks that it is from my childhood thermostat problems. She did check my thyroid because everybody asks. My thyroid, she says, is looking perfect. And she looked back all of my test results because everybody always checks me for my thyroid. And she says, "This has just got to be a fluke with you." She goes, "Very interesting. I have had problems with my thermostat from before puberty, and now when menopause hit. I can tell you, 35 was when I started having problems again. So between the age of 16 and 35, actually it was like more like 14 and 35, I had a really good thermostat controlled life. But no, after that, no. So she did prescribe a estrogen cream for me for certain things, if you get my drift, that I still like and want. And she's like, "Yes, let's do that." And then she also, during the exam, said, "It looks like you're going to need it anyways to keep you healthy down there." So there's that. But other than that, I am feeling great. Definitely know that the hormones are working. And I'm not having any negative parts to it. I have gotten my weight loss back under control. I am in the 120s for the first time in a very long time. I went all the way up to 145. I was right around 135. And then I gained about 10 to 11 pounds. But everybody said, let the medication, your body get used to the medication. And once my body got used to the medication, then I started working on figuring out how to lose weight in menopause. Let me tell you, it is a different animal. It is not just about how many calories you take in to how much energy you export or you get rid of. It literally is a balancing of everything. Your hormones, if your hormones are imbalanced, everything up here is literally bonkers. So don't let anybody tell you you're crazy. you're not crazy. You just have a hormone imbalance, if that's your problem. I mean, yeah. But no, I'm loving it. My goodness, it's life-changing. Like, life-changing. I don't get angry with my husband anymore. The poor man was so patient with me. I don't get the anxiety of, I'm more consistent. I did a lot of research on women and their cycles and the hormones and how our brains fluctuate. And oh my goodness, yeah. I did listen to a lot of experts on hormone replacement therapy. And I listened to a group of doctors that was giving the information on the flawed test study and why they stopped prescribing the HRT and what was so wrong about what they did. Oh my gosh, yeah, they're messing with women like crazy. That girlfriend, if you have any questions, let me know. This was so far life-changing in a good way. We're just going to do this video because it's a little bit too complicated to just reply with a short text, and we're limited, and I have way too many words to say. So let's get going. I pretty much have realized I was in perimenopause for about 4.5 years before, 5 years. They say the average lasts about 6 to 10 years. But my thing is I was controlling, and I was so cocky. I was so cocky. I was like, oh, I'm not going to do the hormone replacement therapy. I'm not going to do meds. I can do it naturally. I'm just doing it with the phytoestrogen from doTERRA, and I'm doing it with the black cherry and the cohosh, and I'm able to do it without any meds. Oh, wrong way to behave. And for any women out there that are listening to this that think that same thing, you are so totally mistaken, and God will literally wipe the feet out from underneath you and land you on your butt. And here's what happened. Out of all of the research that I've done, this is what I have realized. 1 in 4 women go through perimenopause with never even knowing that they're going through it. Literally, their periods just stop, and in 1 year, they are in menopause, and then they're in postmenopause the next day, and then they're like, oh, it was a piece of cake. It was so awesome. I'm not one of those women. And 2 in 4 women, half of the women, go through mild symptoms, and they can manage it with other things and not have to go on meds, and they can, supplements and stuff, and they can just alter their lifestyle a little bit, and they can get through it, right? They can just get through it. This is the point where I tell you most of the doctors say it's just a phase of life. You're going to have to suck it up and live through it. That is the wrong thing. If you ever have a doctor say that to you, find another doctor. Because there are 1 in 4 women, 20 to 25% of the women, that literally go through it, cannot function, and have a very hard time. And there's a small percentage inside that window that literally, let's just put it this way. I've had more women contact me since they've seen my original videos from a year ago on my whole journey that tell me that they're glad they saw it. 1, it saved some marriages because the husbands watched it. 2, the women realized that what they could not describe going on in their body, like they just did not feel like themselves, that some of them didn't want to be here anymore. And yes, I'm talking about that. And yes, I can see where they get that feeling. The average severe hot flashes per day is about 6 hot flashes. If you're having 6 hot flashes a day, they can label you as severe. I was having 80 hot flashes, and I stopped counting for the day. I literally had my journal planner sitting on the counter. Whenever I had one, I put a check mark. That one went away. Then I'd have another one. I'd put a check mark. And I wasn't sleeping. And when you don't sleep, your body goes haywire because it can't reset. And your hormones actually reset when you're sleeping. I'm not using big fancy words. I'm just putting it normal, throwing it out on the table. So any woman that ever says, oh, I'm just going to breeze through it without any medications, you literally need to shut your mouth. Like literally. Fine, you're going through it and you're not having a hard time. Perfect for you. I'm so happy for you. But some of us did not get those genes where we could just slide through like butter, and some of us need help. And actually, when I did all of the research and I read all of the reports that came out, the medical reports, and then I researched how they did that first medical report that said that the hormone replacement therapy caused breast cancer, an increase in breast cancer. And then I realized, and I started researching, I found a doctor and he was talking about how they did the study and how flawed that study was. And in actuality, going on hormone replacement therapy actually protects you from dementia, helps you with your heart, and helps preserve all of your inner organs to a healthier status for longer in life. And then I was like, okay, put me on it. And not only that, it took me 3 months of going on hormone replacement therapy to actually get my dosage straight. And I had to fight with my with my prescription med people, my insurance, like crazy. No woman should ever, let's just say this, Express Script, no woman should ever have to fight for the medication that helps her feel normal. None. Okay, back to my regularly scheduled program. I am on progesterone and I am on the patch Doughty, the Doughty patch. Now, everybody gets to put on the estradiol patch. My doctor asked for me to be put on the Doughty patch. It's DOTTI, and they increased my dosage. Now here's the problem. The pharmacy decided they wanted to put me on the estradiol patch, and I noticed a huge issue on it. One, it wasn't even working. My levels, like this is performing very bad, this is performing as normal, and this is performing really great. Yeah, I've never reached challenges normal. I'm always just going to be normal. But when I was on the Doughty, I was here. They wanted to raise it to get me back up to normal range. And then when they put me on the estradiol increased dose, I started going like this. And when I noticed a difference and I called my doctor, I also had a rash on where the patch goes because it wasn't sticking. It's like you have to put duct tape on it to get it to stick. Anyways, when they removed me back and my doctor put me back, and it was a fight, put me back on the Doughty, I started going up, and now I'm just at the normal range. And literally, it just feels great. Mm-hmm. So your question is, did I find a pharmaceutical that was working for me? Yeah, I did. Do I like the fact I'm on a pharmaceutical? No. Do I wish I could get off of it? Yes. Did I try everything? Yes. Did I use all kinds of money? Yes. Does my prescription medicine cost money? Yes. Do I have to fight and make sure that they're doing it correctly? All the time. Am I worried? I'm so worried that my prescription insurance company is going to mess with me again. I literally, because it's not a controlled substance, I literally went and bought a month to keep in secret, because I'm like, at some point in time, besides, I literally had a problem getting the Doughty. There was a month where you could not get it. Shortages are real, and supply issues are a real thing in this world. So I do have a backup supply in case of an emergency. Break open box. That's what I've got for you. If you're going through this, I'm really sorry. I am really sorry, and don't let anybody tell you that it's just something you're going to have to bear with it and get through, because it can last for 6 to 10 years. And 6 to 10 years is enough to drive a woman crazy when she has to take care of everything and be in a marriage with somebody that looks at her literally and thinks she's crazy. Yeah, no. My husband was very kind to me. He was very sweet, and he did everything he could to help me. But even that has limits, right? So men, I'm just going to say right here, play this for your husband. I'll let you pause it. Men, they do not understand what they're going through. They literally don't. Nobody has prepped us for this, and nobody talks about it. In the olden days, women that spoke about this or this kind of thing that was happening was considered mental problems, and they put them in an institution or an insane asylum. It's not mental issues. It's literally an imbalance of our hormones, and our hormones fluctuate on a daily basis anyways. That's why we go crazy 1 week out of the month. This one is literally flashing and fluctuating at such a severe rate. We have no control, and we don't know what's going on. Not to mention, some of the things in our body just are really weird and goopy and disgusting, and we're trying to hide all of that to make us all look normal in real life, and it's getting harder. So if you could just hold us and tell us you love us and drive us to the doctor, we would really appreciate it, and give us a lot of grace and mercy, and trust us. Once we get back to normal, you will be the happiest man in the world. Okay, back to the woman. Praying for you all. You guys have a great day out there. I will say this. At the end, when you get to the end of the perimenopause, which is anywhere from 6 to 10 years, when you get to the end of that, your hormones start to go massively dumping. So while I could control it the first 4.5 years and I with supplements, it's the end that became increasingly difficult to control because your hormones just go boom, 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 like literally. And that is when I decided that I needed to go on. I actually wished I'd gone on a year earlier, to be honest with you. I'll talk to you guys. I love IFing. Absolutely love it. Speaking from somebody that does have an eating disorder, like I constantly think about food anyways, and intermittent fasting helps me say hello to Mr. Mole. Hello, Mr. Mole. Intermittent fasting helps me not focus on food, because when I start focusing on food, I focus on something else, like a project or something else. I just change my thought. Because before breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I would be focusing for hours on what I was going to make for lunch, what I was going to make for breakfast, what I was going to make for dinner, and ooh, what was I going to have for dessert? Like constantly. It was mesmerizing how long I thought about food. So I do a 5-hour window. I open my window about 10:30, 11. I start with a couple Brazil nuts, and then I move on to maybe some peanuts or toast or whatever, and then I'll have a meal or whatever I'm hungry for until about 4 o'clock. And then I just don't eat anymore. It took about 28 days for me to get used to it. Like, I literally gorged as soon as my window opened and ate everything. And then eventually I noticed my stomach just wasn't growling and wanting food. It just didn't want it. And it was about the 28th day that I'm like, you know what? This is doable. And I do it every day. Don't even think about it. Except I also don't stress about it. If there's a picnic at church, I'm going to the picnic. The next day, I'm just going to keep doing what I normally do. If I'm going on vacation, I'm going to eat the food I want, even when I'm on vacation, whenever I want. And then I'll just go right back on it when I get home or whenever. But what I found was I wasn't really hungry. Like, the donuts looked great, but I didn't eat them all. I actually got really sick after about the second or third one, and I normally would eat 5 to 7. Now, when I'm not in my window, I am pretty strict. I have water and black coffee or black tea only, and no flavored coffee. Like, my coffee cannot be a chocolate roast coffee. It's just black plain coffee. That's it. And that drives some people crazy. No creamer or sugar in my coffee either. It's just black, but I've always drinking it like that. And same thing with tea. It's black tea or green tea. It's not wild orange Siberian tea. No, it's just plain. And my water does not have any flavors in it either. It's just plain water. And that's because when you have flavors in it, it signifies your gremlin, whatever, hormones to start dumping for the insulin and triggers you to get more hungry. So if I eliminate all of that, and it's called clean intermittent fasting, I'm not hungry, which is even better. I could go on, but I'll spare you. I think we've established the fact that you can ask me anything and I'll probably answer it within reason, right? We have, anyways. I eat one meal a day. I started doing that about 6 months ago because I was gaining a ton of weight from menopause. And my husband had read a book. We were both into intermittent fasting 4 years ago, and we had lost a lot of weight. We noticed when we stopped, we started gaining the weight back. And what we decided we wanted to do was go back to intermittent fasting. And then he was reading a book on it and discovered that the woman that wrote the book had gone through menopause and was struggling with the same issues that I was. And she actually talked about it. And I referenced the book. It's called Fast, Feast, Repeat, Fast, Feast, Repeat by Jen. She's amazing. And I started intermittent fasting. My eating is a 4-hour window period of time. I'm really not hungry at all before or after that now, but it's clean intermittent fasting. It is no flavored coffees other than dark coffee, no flavored teas, no fruit teas, no nothing. It's just Lipton tea or green tea, a black tea or green tea, no flavors, and water. because if I add anything else like milk or flavors or anything, it sets off the insulin dump and it makes me absolutely uncontrollably hungry until my time to eat. So I can talk more on that if anybody is into it, but it's clean intermittent fasting, exactly how Jen talks about it. And ever since I've started doing that, it's absolutely been a game changer. And I am back down to my pre-freak out menopause weight. I gained about 11, 12 pounds. And I'm back down to, well, I'm 132. I was 145 in December. And I just started freaking out because I couldn't fit in any of my clothes. And I literally was like, something's got to give. And when I started doing daily exercising on the treadmill and just walking, no running, and I started keeping myself active, which is all the time anyways, and I started doing the 1 meal a day, then I started noticing my whole entire body was changing for the better. That's why I do 1 meal a day. And I'll tell you, there's no restrictions on that meal. It's good food. Okay, my friend, I have to reply. It is totally the fasting, because whenever you start to eat, or the reason you can only have the bitter, the coffee plain, or the tea plain, the black or the green tea, or the water plain. You can't put any essential oils in your water, nothing, because it is the sweet or salty that signals your brain that food is coming, and it does that insulin dump, and then the gremlins start, all this. It's a whole process. You have to read the book. The book was absolute, and we got it from the library. The book was absolutely life-changing. There is something that happens inside your body when you start off the morning with coffee and creamer, or coffee and a little bit of sugar or sweetener, that signifies your brain, oh, I'm going to eat. Let's get some of that hormone-y stuff down there so it can process the food, and then it has nowhere to go because there's no food down there, because you're like, no, and then you get so hungry that you cannot understand. I don't want to eat. But your body is like, oh no, you told us you were going, we sensed you were bringing us food. She said to take 27 days to give yourself 27 days, that it would take that long to start the process. And she was pretty much right. So for 27 days, when my window opened, I literally gorged on food. Now, I'm not restricting myself in those 4 hours I use to eat. I don't hold anything back. Like, if I want chocolate, I'm going to eat chocolate. If I want ice cream, I ate ice cream. I bought pints of ice cream. I have ice cream. I don't hold anything back. So it's not a calorie reduction at all. But you start finding yourself being fuller, and you start getting that, ooh, I'm full feeling a lot more. And you start noticing that you naturally start eating less. Like, we eat so less that my food stock that I had, the little bit of food stock I had, I'm like looking at my husband going, wow, we're not going to have to go shopping for years. But it is, I'm not restricting anything. That's what I love about this. I'm not counting calories. I'm not counting carbs. I'm not holding back on fats. In fact, I eat full fat, and I'm literally not hungry. Like right now, it is 10:37, and I'm kind of feeling like, I opened my window between 11:30 and noon, and I'm kind of like, but yeah. And I'm not hungry at night either, like literally. And I'm eating less because I stop when I'm pleasantly full. So there you go. But the secret to make the whole thing work is literally making sure that you do the clean intermittent fasting. That is the huge difference, because I've done this before, and this one is life-changing.